رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي. Another beautiful example of the Quran's linguistic miracle in word order this time. So in chapter 18 verse 21, I'll show you the difference and then I'll put the translation. In chapter 18 verse 21, the word order is إِذْ يَتَنَازَعُونَ بَيْنَهُمْ أَمْرَهُمْ. When they disputed among themselves about the affair. So here, among themselves, the people who are disputing is put first and then the affair is put next. However, Surah Ta-Ha chapter 20 verse 62 says فَتَنَازَعُوا أَمْرَهُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ. So they disputed over the affair among themselves. Here the affair is put first and then the people who are disputing are put next. Why do we have this switch in order? Let's appreciate the beauty in the context. Surah Kahf is about the people of the cave. And I'll read the translation and you will see that these people of the cave, these youngsters who ran away, went to the cave. Now by this time you can see it seems like they're dead, and the people who have found them, even they seem to be believing in them, rather they're like glorifying them, and they seem to be on the same page. There isn't as such a dispute between them, and they're disputing on a useless thing. So I'll show you. And similarly, we cause them to be found, that they who found them would know that the promise of Allah is truth, and that the hour there is no doubt. Now this is the purpose that Allah caused them to be found, so that they know the promise of Allah is true and that the hour is no doubt. But what did they do? Instead of looking at the real matter, they went to trivial matters. That was when they disputed among themselves about the affair. Now the affair isn't very big, so it's put next. It's not a big thing. They are disputing on the wrong thing. They said, construct over them a structure. The Lord is most knowing about them. Said those who prevailed in the matter, we will surely take for ourselves over them a masjid. They are disputing over these things. And in reality, Allah wanted them to know that the promise of Allah is true. The hour there is no doubt. And then even in the next verse, the context is about people fighting about the wrong thing. The people will say there were 3, the 4th of them being the dog. They will say there were 5, the 6th of them being the dog, guessing at the unseen. And they will say there are 7 and the 8th of them was. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, my Lord is most knowing of the number. None knows them except of you. So do not argue about them except with an obvious argument, and do not inquire about them among the speculators from anyone. So when the matter is not so grave, it's not so important. The things they are arguing about is not that important. So Allah puts the argument itself afterwards and said they disputed among themselves. It was something about that was among themselves, not so that important about the affair, whatever the affair was. But Surah Ta-Ha, they disputed over the affair among themselves. Both parties are right now alive. This is the battle, the clash between Moses, Prophet Musa alayhi salam, and the magicians to decide who is on the truth. Both of them are alive and both of them are battling out to see who's on the truth. The matter is so important. It's the matter of deciding the truth. It's the Pharaoh versus Moses. Look, if I read the translation, you just look at the matter. So Pharaoh went away, put together his plan. It's all about the plan. And then came to Moses. Moses said to them, that is the magician summoned by Pharaoh, woe to you, do not invent a lie against Allah, and he will exterminate you with a punishment. So they disputed over their affair. This affair is very important, and among themselves, and concealed their private conversation. They said, indeed, these are 2 magicians. Now it's giving the detail of the affair. These are 2 magicians who want to drive you out of your land with their magic and do not do away with your most exemplary way. So resolve upon your plan and then come forward in line, and he has succeeded today who overcomes. And then Moses said, either you throw or we will be the first to throw. So there is a description of this entire event and affair. So it was much more appropriate to say they disputed over the affair, this very important affair of deciding the truth among themselves, because here the affair is important. There the affair wasn't important, it was put next. Subhanallah, every word order according to the context, the beautiful miraculous language of the Quran, which creates this conviction in the heart that this can only be the word of God. So may God give us complete conviction in the Quran as the word of God. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Share with the people so the people know the truth as well.